Well, welcome to another edition of 42nd Street Pete's Grindhouse Black History Month special. And today I'm going to talk about the first black produced, black written, black distributed porn film back in, I believe it was 1974. Now, the easiest way for me to do this is basically to read the article I wrote, and I got to take my glasses off to do that, because Lialeh was out in, let me see now, when did I say this? 1974. Now, I'm just going to read you what I wrote in this wonderful magazine here, that basically no one expected the impact that Deep Throat would have in 1972, and porn was now out in the open. New York City was sort of the epicenter for porn. It was everywhere. But now every bottom-of-the-barrel pornographer was getting into the making of 16mm features. Being from the area, I saw a lot of things firsthand. Theaters in Times Square had a diverse crowd. Places like the Pussycat and World Theaters had premieres of films like Deep Throat, Devil and Miss Jones, Behind the Green Door. Other theaters like the Cameo, the Capri, the Eros 2 would show what we now call one-day wonders. Films shot in one day either in a cheap motel room or someone's house. The audience for the cheaper theaters was predominantly black. So there were films called mixed combos played in these theaters. Mixed combos were interracial films. A favorite at the Hudson Theater, which was owned by Avon, was Black Neighbors, Black Girls, Runaway Sisters, Casting Agents, and others. And they were hugely popular. But no one had made a film that catered specifically to black audiences. In 1974, that would change. Lialeh was the film. It debuted on January 1974. The film was a big budget production. It got major hype for two reasons. First, it was a black porn film produced by blacks. The soundtrack was by funk legend Bernard Purdie, who performs his music in the film. Screw gave it a 93% rating on the Peter Meter. It was also reviewed by none other than Goldstein himself. So rather than give you my take on it, let's hear from the Clown Prince of Porn first. This review ran in January 14th, 1974 issue of Screw 254. It goes, big, bold, ballsy, belligerent, and black boogie, well, whatever the fuck it is, bitchy babes. It's a superb, hard-driving, muscular punch of a fuck film that does everything to excess. It opened at the Orleans and Avon theaters, and its lack of moderation cast an almost hypnotic spell on the porn audience. The film starts off with a bang, portraying the audition of a special sex music show. Lialeh, who was portrayed by Jennifer Lee, a Billie Holiday type, tries to get an audition, and after some begging, she finally gets the chance to show off her talents, which don't include her singing ability, but quickly cuts to her true strengths when she goes down on her knees and performs a superb blowjob. The rest of the plot is much better than most for sex films, but is nonetheless overly feeble. It deals with the reality of onstage sexual activities and the configurations that take place before that routine is put on stage. Its mindless anti-white propaganda is pure bullshit and has as much depth as an A&P slice of Swiss cheese with extra holes in it. But whatever the skill the people behind this film had, they surely weren't spent on ideological thoughts, but rather on producing a first-class turn-on fuck film. This is the first porno film that should have had its music released immediately as an LP. The musical score supplied adeptly and admirably by Bernard Purdie, who was performed with Isaac Hayes, Nina Simone, and Roberta Flack, and was, at the time, Aretha Franklin's musical arranger. In addition to the first-class music, there was also the fact that this is a fuck film by blacks for blacks that will turn on whites by basic bluntness. Its seeping raunchiness and the fact that most of its participants have never been in a fuck film before and really get turned on by the action is a solid, substantial plus. Early in the film, the main character says that he wants black tits, dicks, and cunts to be turned into moneymakers. In Lialeh, the effort is successful and proves that everyone's sexual apparatus is in working order. Some of the anti-white crud includes fucking an exploitative white landlord in the ass, not shown explicitly, then humiliating a dude's secretary by shoving a hot dog with mustard up the young, attractive lass's vagina. There is a fine phone masturbation scene in which the eavesdropping operators drop in, but since they are played by Andrea True and Cindy West, the effect is rather a caricature than eroticism. There is also an excess of women with excess fat, and the men and women Screws audience that are into big cocks will find confirmed once again that the usual racial stereotypes that Negroes have big joints. Another good scene shows a clergyman getting his cock licked and lapped, but the best thing in this film takes place when one of the women in the audience, who was played by Screw's own favorite Amy, is dragged on stage and made to meat in a supper which of 3 people partake. This was so superior to the Mitchell brothers' green door weak-kneed effort at eroticism that only individual comparison can be made. There are some mismatched shots in the film, much of the editing is sloppy, but the rambunctious involvement of all the cast makes the film one of the few recent films that I can say with pure enthusiasm I recommend my readers to view. Well, I won't apologize for anything Al said, but it's rare for him to endorse a film and give it the high rating he did. Al had no problem dropping the N-word even on the covers of Screw. No one called him out for it because they knew he was just busting balls. I saw it in February. It was running for 3 straight weeks and would continue to do business. As a patron of the arts, I decided to check it out. I went to the New Orleans Theater on 47th Street. I found a seat and settled in. The film has actual credits. Some great music plays over them. She is riding a bike to an audition. The guy putting on the show, Arlo, says he wants nothing but black tits, ass, and dicks. She is late but begs for a spot. She starts singing, but he stops her. Sing from the soul, he tells her. She does, and then she gives him a blowjob, which he plays, and he plays with her pussy. He hires her. I guess it's not clear. Then he goes to visit a certain landlord. His snotty secretary tells him he's not in. She's eating lunch and knows kung fu, and they spat. He knocks her down. She wants some black snake, but he grabs a hot dog and sticks it in her twat, mustard and all. Arlo goes back to his crib. The air in the theater is heavy with pot smoke. Arlo is on the phone with a lady and starts having phone sex. The 2 operators are listening and turned on. As it said before, it was Sidney West and Andrea True. They get naked and go down on each other. Lots of random sex in the film. She goes to a church where 2 other ladies are singing, and they blow the minister and join Lialeh for the show. Arlo is having a problem with the landlord and ties him up and sodomizes him, thankfully off camera. The show is packed, the hot funk band plays, and the only lyrics, which are Sweet Layla, or Sweet Sweet Layla, and other girls are joined by 3 black studs. They do a hot dance number that gets their audience hot, and Arlo announces a prize winner as he checks the audience ticket. We have a winner, he tells his hot white chick. What did I win? She asks. Arlo pulls out his dick, and her date bails. She is carried on stage, and the 3 dancers pull off their cod pieces, so she gets about 3 feet of plump prime meat. It's a crazy scene that shocks some of the crowd as the lady takes on all 3 at once while the band is playing. We fade out. It's a cool film, lots of sex, plenty of humor, and a kick-ass soundtrack. The film proved that there is a huge market for black porn. Performers like King Paul, Johnny Keys, Jeannie Pepper, Desiree West, Ebony Eyes, and others started appearing in big-budget films. With the advent of home video, black porn exploded and several labels handled the product exclusively. This film was just released on Blu-ray by Dark Force and is well worth picking up. As Deep Throat opened the door for porn in the mainstream, this film did the same for black porn. And, like I said, it started basically a cottage industry, and it, expanded, in films and then to VHS. And, of course, DVD, and I'm, been out of the loop for so long after Liquidators that I don't know who's doing what and to who. All I know is it's still there, and it's still a huge audience. So this was a film that basically got the full-page ad treatment from Screw. Al really loved the film, and it ran 3 straight weeks and was brought back quite a few times as a second feature to back up some other porn features. So like I said, it's available on Dark Force. I think still you can get it. Definitely worth the look. Other things going on. I'm just real happy at this point that I never had kids because of what's going on and how it's coming out that basically billionaires abuse children. That's what they do. This whole fucking Epstein thing has got to come to a screeching fucking halt, and people have to pay for what they did. That's my take for today. Other than that, just hanging in there. Dogs are doing okay. Just dealing with the fallout. A little bit weepy at times here, but what can you do? So that's our show for today. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. Above all, stay safe. Go to www.42ndstreetpete.net if you want to purchase any of the Grindhouse Resurrection issues that are back in print. Hallbag of Crazy 1 and 2, Gunfighters of the Drunken Master, and Two-Fisted Tales of Times Square, plus a few copies of Unconventional are still left. So that's 42ndstreetpete.net for donations, 42ndstreetpete.com. So that's all we got, and we'll catch you on the flip side.